You're watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.
It's Wednesdays with a man who's live from Baltimore, Keegan. How's the weather? How's the city? How's the crab cakes?
Man, weather's 0 out of 10 here, fellas. It's hot. We're coming off that 4-gamer in Detroit as well. It was pretty humid. So my clothes are fitting differently than the start of this road trip, like legitimately, which is a good thing. I need all the help I can get. But it's been a rough one, man. Yesterday, that long doubleheader, we were here for probably 12 hours, roughly. And I think I was up to like the 12, 13 bottle of water range. I actually Googled at one point, Dan, like, when does it get dangerous if you drink too much water? But, yeah, between that, I have been running back to my hotel room for the air conditioning as fast as possible to drink a couple of very cold beers. But it's there are some series that, you just try to get in and out of the city. This is it, and I have got my car parked outside. Can't wait to get in later.
How's that for a road trip for a baseball fan as far as ballparks go, ambiance, et cetera, et cetera?
Don't do it in late July. That's one tip. Do it in April. Honestly, though, I like Detroit a lot. Like downtown Detroit, around the ballpark, it's cleaned up a little bit. It's kind of coming back. There's some cool places to eat. And I'm so jealous of, don't clip me on this. I'm so jealous of Detroit. But when you walk outside of Comerica Park there, you can see every stadium right there. Like, it's so dense downtown, but you don't feel crowded. You don't feel like you're getting smothered. It's a really cool place to be. And Detroit, like, I honestly love it. Baltimore, this stadium is probably one of my 5 favorite stadiums. Again, don't come in late July. You might not enjoy it unless you grew up in this heat and humidity, but 2 very cool stadiums and 2 classics as well.
Yeah.
They are the opposite of Rogers Center. Rogers Center is good for its own reasons, cleaned up and made pretty, but these are kind of the retro classics, which are much more my style. That said, though, I'll take my roof. All day, every day.
100%. I thought you had gotten a little delirious because I asked you about Baltimore and you started talking about Detroit. And I'm like, Keegan's got a case of what I had on Monday. I was talking to Pierre Maguire and I asked him what was going to happen on July 1st. He's like, well, that's already happened. I missed a month of my life, Keegan. I thought we were coming up on July.
It's tough, These things kind of bleed together in the summer anyways. I really just try to get to August 1st every year.
Yes.
Because, frankly, trade deadline week, I don't like it much. It's BS season. There's a lot of talk for not much to happen. It's attention-seeking season, which is not my jam. So I always want to get to August 1st, the day after the trade deadline. That's when I exhale. This week is usually my most stressful of the year. Then I get to August 1, and it's like, oh, thank God, just baseball. All it is baseball from here on out. I can deal with just baseball, no problem at all. But we're a few days away from that, and August 1, August 2, that's when you really start to look at the stretch run. That's when you're talking about the standings every single day. And last year that sucked, if you're a Jays fan. This year might be a little more fun.
Yeah. They will, when you write the book about the 2025 Blue Jays,
oh God.
I will give you an analogy that you can use in that book because it's very fitting. And it pertains to me personally. When I play with bad golfers, I play to their level. I play really bad. When I play with guys playing from the tips that are scratch golfers, I up my game. That is essentially what the Toronto Blue Jays are doing right now this season.
It is. And imagine, Dan, that you're golfing and the Humidex is like 45, right? And you're watching your buddies beat it around. You kind of just want to be done with it.
Yes.
The Jays have played down to some levels this year. And what I'm really interested to see, Dan, is after this home series coming up against, I think, the Royals. I've lost track of my life at this point. But after that, getting out on the road, the Rockies, that's another team, not very good. Then comes the Dodgers. I'm willing to bet the Blue Jays will show up against the Dodgers. Now, you can look at that through an optimistic lens because when you get to the playoffs, teams tend to be good. So I think they will rise up to that level in the postseason, which is where they're absolutely headed. But you need to take the freebies along the way. When you play a team that's not very good and that is trading you players because they're kind of giving up on the season, you've got to take a few. And while the Blue Jays have that comfy little lead in the AL East right now, the Yankees are never going to go away, and they'll probably make some moves. The Red Sox are not going to go away. Sorry, the Rays are always going to be annoying and pesky and in there. It can change quickly, and the mood, the energy around a team can change quickly. 5 days ago, this is the best team of all time. They can never lose again. Today, it's they better not lose 5 in a row.
Yeah, and it was a strange situation in which I don't know how many times it's occurred in baseball history, in which a Baltimore Orioles, Seranthony, one of my favorite names in all of baseball, started the doubleheader on the Orioles, finished the doubleheader on the Jays. Did they give you the stats on how many times that has occurred in baseball history, where a guy starts the day with one team, finishes with the team they're playing?
Man, not many, and especially not many during a doubleheader. You'll see at the odd time where they play at 7 o'clock, the trade happens at 5, and he walks across. And it actually happened with the minor league prospect involved too, Dan. Jaron Watts-Brown, their number 10 prospect. Toronto's Double-A team was playing Baltimore's Double-A team in Bowie, Chesapeake, and he walked across the field too. So I don't think it's happened with the Blue Jays since, I think it was 2016 maybe, when they traded for Upton. It's rare, man, but it's one of those cool baseball-y things. You don't see it as much in other sports because trade deadlines are not nearly as active. So it's one of those cool baseball-y days. You got to see Dominguez walking into the bullpen. I think he was taking some crap from his old teammates. And then he faces them right away, which I kind of loved. I kind of loved that John Schneider just threw him out there. It's like, hey, you know how this stadium works. You know this mound. Go pitch. Go throw 100 splitters. But that's an impressive move from them, man. It can't be their last move. I don't think it will be their last move. But that's the Blue Jays essentially upgrading their number 3, number 4 reliever. The 7th and 8th inning just got better. And that's a start. They got 30 more hours to figure this out. They need at least one more trade, probably a couple more trades, but a fine start, and he did not have to go far. It was pretty cool.
When the trade was made, did they put it up on the big screen in Baltimore? Because I'm thinking if you're a fan, and it's very rare someone doesn't have a phone, and it's not rare that someone's not checking the ticker to see what's going on. There was probably some confused people as what's happening. Is he not our guy?
Man, I forget to remember, Dan, that not everyone's as online as me. At work, I'm on this laptop I'm talking into right now all day. When I go home, I am on my phone all day. It's a problem. I have a screen time problem. I'm not going to address it. It just is what it is. When I'm 80 and my retinas are burned out, whatever. So if something happens, I know about it. But I forget that not everyone's like that, especially if they're a bit older than me and I'm looking around the crowd during a day game and a night game. There were absolutely people who did not know about it until I believe they put it up on the video board mid-game, like, thank you, Seranthony, with a video of him in the bullpen. And people must have been thinking, like, what the hell is happening here? This guy. So it must be, like, I wish I could learn of something that way, Dan. I would love to, turn on the TV and learn about a trade or, learn about – I can't imagine, I always love talking to, some of our veteran writers who cover the Jays about the, pre-internet newspaper days. Where, if you got a story, you owned it for the next day because they print the paper once. Number one, that gives me so much anxiety because if I lost a story, I'd be toast for a whole day. But, man, I do not know what it's like to pick up a newspaper and learn of a trade that way or break a trade that way. So it's, these days you only own it for 10 seconds and people chase a bunch of Twitter points for some reason. But there were definitely people in Baltimore wondering what was happening last night. That's pretty cool.
And a lot of people watching the game who were wondering what happened. That was me because I was putting together a 500-piece vanity in which at least they were honest because I opened up the instructions and they had a little QR code. They said, this will take approximately 3 hours to put together. And they were pretty bang on with their time assessment. So I tune into the game and I see Seranthony. I'm like, wait a second. So I discovered it the old way.
I like
by just seeing it with my own eyes.
Just already sweaty and angry and cursing. That sounds like you had a great day.
No, I held it together pretty good. I did the old classic. Well, that piece, it was fully put together. That piece is facing the wrong way, so I'll just do some readjustments. But it's standing. I wouldn't move it a lot. I would just fix it in one place, and hopefully it stays there for its intended purpose, and that is to put on makeup. You mentioned some more moves for the Jays. They still are waiting on Varsho. I think that's going to happen soon. So I always see that as, hey, that's like making a move without having to trade away anyone.
Kinda. I think it's not a coincidence, I don't think, that they're waiting until the day after the trade deadline to activate him, because it's going to be a mess of roster moves, 40-man roster stuff. So, he is going to magically be ready the day after as a helicopter flies really low over the stadium here. I think it's like a medical center landing pad nearby. So they get close. Man, it's really cool. But with Varsho coming back, I'd expect that to be for the KC series at home. As I'm looking up over my laptop now, I see George Springer walking out onto the field with a trainer, so he's kind of testing out concussion protocol, whether he has that or not. Alejandro Kirk's another one. Ideally, he's back in a few days. You never know with concussions. But we're seeing, I think, in these last couple of days, Dan, I don't want to overreact to these couple of days, but I'm here. I've got to do something. So you're seeing that without Springer, without Kirk, this lineup can look a little different, because the Blue Jays lineup is not spilling over with talent and just kind of doing an average job. They're overachieving, I think, overachieving a lot of expectations and overachieving what their consideration of star power is. And when you lose a couple guys, suddenly Ernie Clement's playing every day, not just lefties. Suddenly Heineman and Ali Sanchez are playing every day. You are having to do something different with your DH spot. Will Wagner's in there more often instead of George Springer, who for me is kind of this team's identity this year, which I can't believe I'm saying. But you need these guys back. You need that health, because it can expose you pretty quickly. And I think we're seeing that these last four games in a row.
Have they let Springer speak to the media? Because he did get hit pretty hard in the ear protector with looked like a fastball to the head. He stayed down for a little while. What's the update on him? Has anything been provided?
So we asked him if he would speak yesterday, and he said, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to, because it's not as official. Like the language, you hear it in the NFL more. They're in concussion protocol. We don't use that language as formally in baseball, but he is being tested for that. But as I look at him right now, he is out doing some stretches and running with the trainer. So everything looks pretty good. When I start to worry, Dan, is when I show up the next day and a guy's not there, because that's the team trying to keep them away from sound and noise and stimulation. Alejandro Kirk was there the next day hanging out with his teammates. George Springer was there the next day with a big smile on his face. So ideally, it's nothing. You hope not. And I think the fortunate part was, A, that he turned his head a bit, because I was afraid he caught it right here in the orbital, and that would have been a disaster. He turned his shoulder, and it clipped his shoulder as it hit his earpiece, which might have saved him. And really, really scary moment. You don't want to see that for anyone, but especially a guy having such a cool season. George Springer, a renaissance for him at 35. Looks like he's all right. He's breaking into a jog right now. It's almost a sprint, baby, but he's working up. I think we'll have an update on him later today.
Well, I think the biggest issue would be the ear ringing. And I know if you get hit with a puck in the side of the helmet in hockey, your ear hurts, the ringing is there. It eventually goes away, but I can't imagine. So that happened to me in Pee-wee. So the shots are coming in at, I don't know, 40, 30 kilometers an hour. He got one close to 100. So I think that would be the biggest issue.
Because I played goalie in hockey, and I can hear that.
I did too.
Metallic. That's what's wrong with this, Dan. But I can hear that metallic ringing in my ears still to this day. Still not worse, though, Dan, than when you got a puck straight to the cup. And even though it saved you, the rest of the arena knew what happened. The helmet gave the high-pitched ting. The cup gave that loud, hollow boom. And the arena would freeze, and everyone would look at you. But, man, I can hear that ringing. The moment you say it, I can hear it.
It makes sense that a lot of goalies become broadcasters or in media because we are greedy. We want to be a part of the entire game, and we want to watch it all. We want to dissect it. I remember standing in net, and I'd be doing play-by-play of the game.
Absolutely, just like catchers too, and
Yeah.
and at the very base level, somewhat with catcher, but definitely with goalie. If you're committing to that and playing that, there's something a little bit wrong with you, and you can usually say the same about people who get into sports media. But it's, I still say to this day, the worst thing I ever did to my parents, don't let your kids be goalies. It's so expensive. If you're in a Source for Sports or wherever you're at buying equipment and you see your kid going over towards the blockers and the trappers, yank them back. Get them away.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, but just replace that with goalies. On a personal note, I just want to tell everyone that last week during the Yankees-Jays series, I took my girls down to the game on Vladdy bobblehead night. I sent Keegan a text because we walked by the media center on the way to the Bet Rivers box. I said, Keegs, are you there? He said, yep. I said, meet me at the door. So Keegs and I met in person for the first time. I'm here to report you are a dapper, well put together individual.
See, Dan, you caught me in an air-conditioned stadium. That's why. That's what happened right there. If you were to meet me right now, you'd be saying a much different thing. But you got to see a look at the glamour, and that's how hard I work at work, Dan, because I was able to just pop up and immediately leave my job. It was great. It was great.
Hey, we were there early. It was like an hour before. It was an hour before first pitch. But what an atmosphere to. My kids asked me. They said, "When was the last time you were here during a sellout?" I couldn't remember. I'm like, I don't know.
And if it was a sellout, it was a hot dog sellout. It was a giveaway sellout. Like, even though that was a giveaway, it was because people gave a damn about the team. Like, these are actual crowds, not everybody clap your hand crowds, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that was the game that had everything: ejections, Yankees errors, Jays winning. It was everything you want to see in a baseball game. And I'm happy to report my oldest daughter, Sydney, she left the game and she goes, you know what? That's the first game I've ever sat and watched, and I really liked it. And I'm like, oh, we got one.
There we go. Hooked. I love it.
Yeah. All you got to do is give it some time, and it grows on you. Keegs, all you got to do is give Baltimore some time. I assume it'll grow on you.
I hope not. I'm out of here the moment this game ends. If you can't wait to, you know what? It's making me appreciate Toronto, which I haven't always done naturally. So I'll love Baltimore for that.
Okay. Travel safe, buddy.
You got it.
Thanks for watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.